Welcome to another episode of UEN's PDTV. I'm your host, Katie Blunt. Something amazing is happening in Alpine School District. Student mathematics proficiency is in the top 1% of Utah's public schools. This achievement can be attributed in large part to Ed Tech Competency 1B. The competency focuses on the foundations of instructional design and pedagogy, specifically essential pedagogical understanding and application. It states that educators should engage in reflective practice and data analysis as part of the instructional cycle. In this episode, we travel to Greenwood Elementary School to talk to 6th grade teachers Peggy Feld, Cami Graves, and Rochelle Alvey, and to Windsor Elementary to talk to dual language immersion teacher Miguel Giraldo about how reflective practice and data analysis drives their instruction and contributes to the success of their students in mathematics. Becoming reflective practitioners is not something that just happens. Each of these teachers take time at the beginning of the school year to build a safe and supportive classroom climate in which mistakes are an acceptable, normal part of the learning process.
At the beginning of the year, I created a safe environment. The kids know that it doesn't matter if they're wrong or right, it's safe. And one of the things I do for that is if I make a mistake, the kids can catch me on it. And as they catch me, they get so many class points, and as so many class points, they get a party. So they're looking for what I'm doing wrong. So I'm showing them that if I can make a mistake and I'm okay with it and I can laugh about it and I can be happy about it, then so can they. And that's made them feel very safe about mistakes.
When you make a mistake, it means you're learning. That's good.
Data analysis is definitely an important part of the instructional cycle for these 6th grade teachers. They utilize daily pre-assessments with their students to gather data about the mental and emotional state of each student. Their students also engage in reflective practice daily as they set personal goals to help them improve.
At the beginning of the lesson, before we even touch math, we do just like a self-start, something fun, whether it's a game or funny question, things like that. And then from there, we do an emotional well check where they can choose between 6 options. I'm great, I'm okay, I'm meh, which usually means we're tired. I'm struggling, I need a check-in, or I'm in a dark place. That way we can overcome emotional struggles, especially during this day and age. And then right after that, we do a 1% goal. So what am I gonna do 1% better today? I am going to communicate with my partner more effectively. I am going to raise my hand 1% better. I am going to be positive. I'm gonna have a good attitude.
While that doesn't necessarily specifically come to math, it once again adds to that culture that we really wanna build of teamwork and support as a team. We told the kids a story about the Olympic team where the coach was new, and he came into this team that was not performing well at all. And so he looked at every aspect of the team and said, what can you do that's 1% better? And so we refer to that all the time. Because then that team ended up going on to the Olympics and winning gold. And so we talked to him about, it doesn't matter where we start. It's all about that journey and that process of getting better every day, because you never know how much better you can be if you don't try.
A focus on questioning, partnering, and discussion has changed the way these teachers and students engage in mathematics. These practices allow them to see mathematical problems and solutions in new ways.
I've been teaching 18 years, and so I've learned to question. And I use some of Reddy's questions, but a lot of my own. And as I question them, they came to understand. They understand what they're doing, because I don't give them the answers. My questions lead to another question by them, or lead to them giving me the answer. The best question that I ask them is when they tell me I don't know how to start this, I'll say, well, tell me what you do know. And so they'll start telling me what they know, and within 30 seconds, oh, I get it. And of course you love that. And I have one student who, when he gets it, he's so expressive, his eyes get big, oh, I got it! And I love when he does that. And that's what I love about teaching with questioning, teaching the way I teach is watching the kids learn and to grow and to express when they get it.
We have so much discussion, and we talk a lot about how if you're not right the first time, listen to your partner and they can help explain. And together they come to a consensus on an answer or why this works and why this doesn't. And that's a huge self-building practice. It helps them really gain confidence and understanding themselves. I've heard it say a lot of times that it sounds different coming from a peer than it does the teacher. And so because we give them that explore time before I even step in as the teacher, it gives them an opportunity to learn from each other and maybe fill in some background that maybe they weren't as clear on when we started before I even say anything about how to solve the problem. So I think it's a really great benefit to the students to have that peer support. It builds that culture of teamwork instead of it's just my problem. It's not, I'll copy off my neighbor because they know the answer. It adds that dynamic of teamwork and supporting in our classrooms.
I really like math, so looking at how different people do it and look at the math and what goes on in our minds, it just fascinates me. I've always seen things differently in math, so I like to understand the different ways that everybody else thinks, and I think it's just really fun and cool how much diversity there is, and there's just so many differences. And sometimes they think about stuff in ways that I've never thought that were even possible.
Formative assessment is the next key component in using data to drive instruction. These teachers use several tools and strategies to gather real-time data to prompt them in making needed changes in their instruction in order to meet students' needs.
On Nearpod, you can see in real time what every single kid is doing on the problem, so I can see who I need to talk to with. When I say, okay, get with a partner, I will either help a kid that, oh, they know what they're doing, I'm gonna part you up with this person, or I will individually partner up with like 1 or 2 kids to help them say, okay, this is what we're doing. Oh, I would do it this way, how would you do it from there? And focusing on what do I know so far? So maybe I know I need to put the numbers in order for median, but I don't know how to figure out exactly what's in the middle other than guessing. And so we talk about different strategies with that. And then I'll show different examples on the board as well of what other kids are doing. I also know my students really well. So between looking at Nearpods and them submitting their answers so I can see their work, we also do the practice pages at the end so I can see how they're doing with the practice. If I notice that we're kind of struggling, especially with communicating because it's morning, we're still waking up, sometimes we'll do triple partners where, okay, I want you to go find a different one or get out of our seats versus just sitting at our desk the whole time.
My class uses the slides, and then we use whiteboards and markers. And so as I walk around and watch the kids and what they're writing, I can tell right away. Especially now since I know the kids a lot better, I can tell if they're understanding or if they're not. And so I will sometimes keep anecdotal notes, sometimes I just keep the notes up here, and I know who needs extra help and who can give them extra help, or if it needs to be me.
Being able to listen to their student thinking has been helping me a lot, because when they are explaining to the partner, to the other kids, help me see truly where they are. That's my formative assessment that I do during the lesson. And that helped me change the pathway for my future lessons. And so I can modify, because when we set as a team and plan for the week or the month, we have some goals. But when I listen to them and they are explaining to their partner, I can see misconception that they have or something that they really solidify before or during the discussion, during the practice moment in the lesson.
When data from summative assessments are analyzed during team planning meetings, teachers are armed with information about the success of their lessons. Data analysis helps them know when there is a need for reteaching and when students are ready to move forward and take on more complex concepts.
Data's neat, right? But you have to actually use it. And my team and I are really good about using that data effectively. So just with, for example, the quiz that they give at the end of Ready Math for every lesson or concept that they do. Instead of just marking them wrong, we grade them on a scale of like a 1, 2, or a 3. 3 meaning that they have mastered this skill, we're not making any silly mistakes, things like that. And then we look at each skill that is needed to find that concept, and we do a tier 2 instruction for each kid within the grade. We mix them up, we group them according to the skill that they need, and from their teacher or an aide that all split kids up into groups, we extend those kids that are doing amazing. We give them something that is within the same realm of what we're doing and extend it further. And then those kids that are struggling, we delve down and focus on just that skill. And we'll focus on that skill until the data shows that they're improving. And then from there, we'll move on to the next concept.
As a team, we are really strong. We look at our data. We look at what key factor did we maybe miss as teachers that we didn't hit as hard as we could have. And we have an intervention time during the day that helps us go back and reteach and refocus based on the skills the kiddos have missed. So I think those working together just build their confidence. I think confidence is so hard to gain in math, and that's one of our biggest focuses, is we really want the kids to find that joy in math and that success in math, because that's how they learn and grow. Once they start becoming confident with what they can do, they're not as afraid to share.
For teachers and students in the Alpine School District, utilizing reflective practice and data analysis in the instructional cycle has changed their whole approach to math instruction, and they are very pleased with the results.
This school year, at the beginning, it felt like I didn't know a lot of this stuff, but it was still a good learning experience and it was fun. But now I feel like I've learned a ton more than I knew before, and it's a lot of fun learning math in Mr. Geraldo's class.
One of the goals for dual language immersion is that they need to be able to produce a lot of the target language. And to be honest, this year, this is like an experiment, because I should be teaching science in Spanish. But because of the result that we have in the past, and now with this new vision for learning in the district, we decided, let's give it a try. And at the beginning of the year, we print all in the book for the first 6 weeks to see if that will work. And we start to see that production. And I don't know if you know, but some of them want to speak in Spanish during the math, even though they didn't receive the math lesson in Spanish since third grade. So at the beginning it was really challenging, but now they are talking about it. A month ago we did a math lesson study, and my partner was selected to teach it. So he was teaching math in Spanish, and I want to see if they really connect with the goal, which is they need to produce really good score with the testing in English, but they were trying to speak in Spanish, but at the same time they were writing in English. So it was a lot of connection, a lot of productive struggle, that's how I call it, and they are rocking, like they are producing a lot. They are speaking in the target language, and they are understanding what the concept is being taught. These last 2 years has been a huge change in the way that our administrators are helping us to see and change the way that we approach math. I see more engagement, more excitement about math. So they're more engaged, more excited, they're more happy.
Now that you have seen EdTech Competency 1B in action, let's explore how you can implement it in your own teaching. Start with a solid instructional cycle, such as Utah's high-quality instructional cycle. Steps 4 through 6 of this cycle specifically talk about assessment, data and reflection, and adaptive instruction. Be sure to build a classroom culture in which students feel safe to make mistakes, to explore concepts, and to ask questions. Instructional strategies such as partnering, grouping, questioning, and discussion will be much more successful when a comfortable, safe classroom culture has been established. Next, be sure to dive into reflective practice. As a teacher, you should always examine how your lessons and new instructional strategies have been implemented and how you can improve. You can also help your students think reflectively about their work in the classroom. Formative, and summative assessments can help you gather the information you need to be an effective, reflective practitioner. Be sure to also help your students set goals. These goals can help them achieve daily, monthly, and yearly targets. And be sure to help them monitor their progress toward these goals. Data analysis is key to the whole instructional cycle. There are a lot of tools that can help you with assessment and data analysis, such as Nearpod and Canvas, or the built-in tools in your school's math program. You can also use more analog approaches, such as anecdotal notes, observations, small group instruction, and student interviews. Your team meetings are a vital component of data analysis. Be sure that you analyze information and data together as a team and use it to drive your planning and instruction. To access resources to help you build your schools in all of these areas, be sure to visit uen.org/PDTV and explore the teacher toolkit that accompanies this episode. Thanks for watching this episode of UEN's PDTV. To access more professional development resources from UEN and to schedule a training, visit uen.org/development. We'll see you next time.